just couldn't find my way, and I guess there's nothing more to say. Love can make you blind, make you act so strange, but I'm here, and here I will stay. So every day I cry, every day, yes, every day I fall, every day. You ever wonder why I love everything about you? But every day I say I try to make my heart be still, till in every way there is to cry ourselves to sleep, we will. It picked me up, knocked me off my feet. I got no way to explain. Still I love you, love you, love you. With this fire inside, we'll never see the light of day. So every day goes by, every day, and every day I fall, every day. It makes me wonder why every day my life's worth nothing without you. But every day I say I'll try to make my heart be still, 'cause every way there is to cry ourselves to sleep, we will. You never know, no, 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 no. You never know just how close we were. You never know, no, 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 no. You never know, no, you'll never see. The book closes and we try to forget, but I know that things won't change. How we feel, how life goes on, and that seems so strange. And so the light fades away. Every day, try as I may. I can't stop thinking about you. It seems my life's worth nothing without you. But every day I say I'll try to make my heart be still, till in every way there is to cry ourselves to sleep, we will. Every day, you know I try so hard. Every day, it gets so harder. Every day, you know I try so hard. Every day, it gets a little harder. Every day.
The one and only Glenn Campbell with Gentle on My Mind.
It's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. that makes me tend to leave my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch. And it's knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten words and bonds and the ink stains that are dried upon some line that keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory. It keeps you ever gentle on my mind. Though the wheat fields and the clotheslines and the junkyards and the highways come between us, and some other woman's crying to her mother 'cause she turned and I was gone, I still might run in silence, tears of joy might stain my face, and a summer sun might burn me till I'm blind. But not to where I cannot see you walking on the back roads by the rivers flowing gentle on my mind. I dip my cup of soup back from a gurgling, crackling cauldron in some train yard. My beard a roughening coal pile and a dirty hat pulled low across my face. Through cupped hands round the tin can, I pretend to hold you to my breast and find that you're waiting from the back roads by the rivers of my memory, ever smiling, ever gentle on my mind, on my mind.
Good afternoon. Yes, just want to say welcome to everybody. My name is Andre Rousseau. Most of you don't know me, but Glenda attended church that Vera and I ran for a period of about 3 years. And it was always Vera's privilege for Glenda to ride with her. And so we got to know her. And it's, what's that? Also our neighbor, of course. And I was greatly privileged when I was asked to do at least an introduction and a short message this afternoon. Can we take a moment and pray? Lord, we want to thank you for this life lived fully and completely for all these years and how it's touched each of us in different ways. So now we ask your blessing upon our time together and your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, God gives us two wonderful things in life. The first one is time, and the second one is freedom of choice. Now, time we don't determine for ourselves, but choice we do. And I'm sure I have a Bible here somewhere. Here it is, here. And in Joshua chapter 24 are these wonderful words. And I believe Glenda lived them in an amazing way. It's in Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. And it says, where Joshua says this, "Choose for yourselves this day who you would serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." And you know, Glenda's love for her family, Glenda's love for God, was displayed in the choice and the choices she continued to make in her life. A life is not something that one sums up in 15 minutes now or the next 15 hours as it can be. One's life is filled with so many things, so many choices, so many challenges. And what you do with those choices and challenges leaves a legacy. And that legacy is what you are here to celebrate the life of Glenda, but also her legacy. And the wonder of a legacy is that what a person began in your life, you continue. And that's one of the things that Glenda did in all the times that we were together and at the church. She loved to worship. She loved to make the choice to go. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there's a wonderful set of verses. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. I guess if I ever want to look at anything that Glenda did, it would be a time to plant and a time to uproot. She knew, she loved her gardening, and she loved what she did with her garden and how she did it. And in that time, having been married to Vera for several years, one of the things I almost knew without a doubt is that sometime in the day, if I went out, Glenda would be busy with her plants. And because she was busy with her plants, you know, she uprooted stuff and she put other stuff in. That's how she worked. And it was great. And Vera, do you want to play that song? I don't know about you guys, but there's this beautiful song that I know all of you know, but that, let's see if we can get it to work. But that adequately describes this season in her life. And the song is called Turn, Turn, Turn. You know, the seasons of our lives.
You've come to the...
And just looking at the different slides, you look at the seasons.
most dangerous planet to hunt an apex predator that can't be killed.
As we would like to see life to continue, it is filled with seasons that change, and that we change with those seasons. And when somebody like Glenda, who has had an influence in your lives, passes away, then if there's anything that touches us deeply, It's a sense of loss and of grief. Now, grief in itself is not a bad thing. Grief is not a head thing, by the way. Grief is a heart thing. If I could reason it all in my head, that would be wonderful, and I think you'll all agree with that. But I want to quote somebody called Glennon Doyle Melton. Grief is love's souvenir. It is our proof that we once loved. Grief is the receipt we wave in the air that says to the world, look, love was once mine. Now, if there's anything I know about Glenda, is that she loved, and she knew how to love. And as much as she knew how to love, I think one of her difficulties was receiving it, because she was being strong and independent for so much of her life that receiving it sometimes was not always her easiest activity. But she loved to give it, and because she could give love, I am sure she was able to receive it, not always necessarily show it in the same way. And those of you who know her better than I do, I'm sure can attest to that. And I just want to read two last things in closing. The first one is a poem by Amy Carmichael, who founded the Durbanville Fellowship in India. And she says, hast thou no scar, no hidden scar on foot or side or end? I hear thee sung as mighty in the land. I hear them hail thy bright ascendant star. Hast thou no scar? Yet I was wounded by the archer's spent. Lean me against the tree to die and rent. By ravening beasts that compassed me I swooned. Hast thou no wound, no scar? Yes, as the master shall the servant be, and pierced are the feet that follow me. But thine, O whole, can thou have followed far who has no wound, no scar? You know, if there's one thing time does, is it produces scars and wounds. But the wonderful thing about walking with God is that He heals those wounds and scars in a way that only He can, if we let Him. And that's the thing about grief. We can't reason it in our heads. We have to experience it in our hearts and face it and know that when we do, He gives us grace to heal. If I try and, you know, several years ago, Vera and I lost our son. And experiencing grief and loss created a wound that few things could fill. But fortunately, we turned to God and He filled those wounds, healed those wounds and those scars. C.S. Lewis puts it this way: love anything and your heart will certainly be wrung and possibly be broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give your heart to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully around with hobbies and little luxuries and avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in a casket or coffin of your selfishness, but in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. The only place outside of heaven where you can be perfectly safe from all the dangers and perturbations of love is hell. You know, one of the things that I heard from Glenda on so many occasions is how much she loved her family, she loved her friends. And she would rather love them and get hurt than stand back and just be impenetrable. And I want to commend her above all things for the courage to love and to continue to love. And she did that as long as she could. And that's the legacy of her life. That's the legacy that she wants to leave with you. Faith, hope, and love. And faith, hope, and love were strongest in her life because she lived them, not because she said them. She lived them. So I want to invite some of the family members, starting with Graham and then Gwyneth and Leslie, and finishing with Vera to share a couple of things about Glenda. Graham.
Thank you, Andre. My emotional support. Today we gather and honor my mother, Glenda Symons. A remarkable woman who lived lived 91 years of life, full of love, strength, and generosity. Please bear in mind, this is from our heart and living experiences. She was the only child of Arthur and Wanda Turai. And from early on, she grew to someone who would build not just a life, but a place of belongings for so many others. She met my father while they were still very young. Together they built a wonderful life and a much beloved family. The 5 Gs as we were known: Jeff, Glenda, Gwyn, Graham, and her baby boy Gavin. Mom was so much more than her accomplishments. She was the matriarch, an absolute ox of a woman, the glue that held the family together. There's one thing she valued most in life, and that was her family, her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. We are all a byproduct of that long story of love and commitment that began many years ago. During our years growing up at 105 Ansford Avenue, Benoni, where someone with a similar surname originated, my mom and dad created something very special together, a kennel called Glenarvin, a name formed from her name and her parents Arthur and Wanda. They bred Alsatians and became highly successful, even imported dogs from Germany with her cousin Cecil. It showed very early on that my mom had a drive for excellence in whatever she chose to do. She never did anything in halves. She gave 100% to everything she did. Later, while we were living in Benoni, our home became more than just a house. It became a boarding house, welcoming many young German men, Gunther, Karl, and Hans are some of the names I remember, who had come to South Africa. Through them, my parents were introduced to new traditions, including air rifle shooting and Kegel, the German form of 10-pin bowling, at the Deutsche Verein in Edenville, where I have some very fond memories, especially that wonderful German food. And this is where my mom truly stands out. She took her air rifle shooting with incredible skill and determination. She became the Transvaal Ladies Champion, earning her Transvaal colours, even out-shooting many of the men, and went on to achieve the South African colours. She competed in the South African Games in the early 1960s, an achievement that speaks of her discipline, focus, and strength. She earned herself a gold medal, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. I believe you can see them there. But alongside all of this, my mom was also a no-nonsense lady, especially to those who knew her shooting prowess. She believed in discipline and doing things properly. When we moved to Durban, yet another passion came into her life. After encountering a Siamese cat, she fell in love with the breed and went on to establish Glenda Cattery. Once again, she rose to the top, becoming one of South Africa's leading breeders of Siamese and Oriental cats. Her father, Arthur, was a master tailor, and her mother, Wanda, was a skilled seamstress. And she carried that gift forward. She became an exceptional seamstress, creating beautiful garments, including many wedding dresses for her friend Elaine Caruth, who owned a boutique. She also built a home industry called Cat Whiskers, making children's clothing, with her granddaughters modeling her work, which even featured in the U magazine. Give me a moment. I'm back in to see. Let's get that. She also created a clothing collection for Barbie dolls with the same care and detail she gave everything she did. She was also an accomplished pianist. I remember the beautiful Steinbach piano in our home. As kids, we just tinkled on it, and only after it was gone did we all wish that we had taken the time to learn. But beyond everything she achieved, what defined my mom was her heart. Her door was always open. Saw me. When my school friend Gerald Allen had nowhere to go, she took him in. When my cousins Karen and Anthea needed a home, she welcomed them. When Jeanette, at just 17, found herself without a place to stay, my mom gave her one. Jeanette went on to become my first wife and the mother of Gareth, the first grandchild and only grandson, who then gave Mom her first great-grandson, Logan. Gareth also has his own sporting achievements, but that is for another day. Mom's home was also his home for a while, whilst we lived in East London. Needless to say, Mom and Dad treated Gareth as a son, and he was loved dearly. When Leslie and I moved to East London, she even opened her home to my other ex-wife, Julie, and my beautiful daughter, Peter Lee, who was just a baby at the time. Through all the ups and downs of my life, even after the 2 divorces, she was always there for me, ready to take me back and help me rebuild. She didn't just give people a roof over their heads, she gave them safety, dignity and love. Later in life, she made a difficult move to Cape Town to be closer to the family. Leslie and I had by that time gotten married and moved to Cape Town for the Y2K scare. During her time in Cape Town, she continued caring for others, doing daycare for a number of babies, Arizona, Scotty Jr., and my grandson Logan, who I might add was her toughest assignment. We cannot forget my brother Gavin, who made a promise to my dad Jeff that he would always look after Mom, which he did lovingly till the day she died. He was her baby boy after all. To Joanne, his wife, Jenna, their daughter, who loved Granny more than anything else, except her baby doggies, Grant, Jessie, and Angel, Shane, her husband, Tweety and Casey, their 2 children, 2 of the great-grandchildren. To my son Gareth and grandson Logan, to Bradford, Leslie's son, Angie's wife, and their sons Jordan and Matthew. We cannot ever forget Michael and Brenda, Peter Lee's other grandparents, with whom Mom had an incredible bond and would continue a loving relationship, what with writing endless letters back and forth for many years, until sadly Granny Brenda passed away. Colin and Claudia, who loved her dearly. She loved it when Leslie and I would go and visit, and we would take her along for much needed outings. Colin has also sadly passed on and was one of my dearest friends. By the way, Colin is Bradford's dad. That is how we lived and what she taught us. And as the song goes, and what Colin always said, we are family. There's also a line from a song she loved that feels fitting today. That sense of seeing others in need in many ways. In many ways, she made people's lives feel like another day in paradise. In her later years, dementia and Alzheimer's slowly took hold. After her 91st birthday in October last year, her health declined more rapidly, until on the 30th of May 2026, she sadly passed away, leaving behind the heartbroken family she created. I don't think any of us will ever get over the loss of this great woman we call Mom, Granny. But that is not how we define her life. We remember a woman who constantly gave, who lifted others, who created greatness, who opened her home and her heart again and again. There's someone very important I need to mention. That is my daughter Peter Lee, or more favourably known as Pumpkin, who has been in the UK for 20 years and has missed a lot of time with her granny. This just reminds me of the funny things Mom always did. When Peter Lee and Granny Jr. got married, whenever pictures were taken, instead of saying, say cheese, it became Haken cheese, which until very recently, we would get it to say when doing videos for Pumpkin in the UK. We know she loved her grandchildren dearly, but there was something very special. There was a very special bond between Peter Lee and her granny. Peter Lee loved her granny deeply. Earlier this year, when Mom could remember and have conversations, Peter Lee came to spend time with her. Time that now means more than words can say. And even now, being so far away in the UK, she would have dropped everything to be here at her side. One of the moments she held close was her wedding, when her granny caught the flowers. It's a simple memory, but one full of love, joy, and connection. That was the bond they shared. And before I close, I want to say a very special thank you to my wife, Leslie, for her love, patience, and dedication in caring for my mom, feeding her, changing her, and caring for her through the hard times. She looked after Mom as if she was her own mom, and never once gave it a second thought. She might say differently now, but looking after Mom became second nature to her and a part of her everyday life, while managing the zoo at home, the birds, the cats, the dogs, and the grown-ups. I believe there was a kindred spirit, connection between the two. Leslie is known as the Bird Lady on the local WhatsApp group, always hand-rearing injured and nesting birds. I know this is not about Leslie, but everyone knows who to turn to when someone needs looking after, and she would never say no to anyone or anything in need, except maybe me. Leslie is one of the most beautiful, loving and caring people I've encountered on this planet, except of course Mom. And I know how grateful Mom was to have her in her life, even though she was called an alien. Leslie, I truly believe God has a special place in heaven for you when your time comes. If we want to honor Glenda, Mom, we do it simply by living with kindness, generosity, and an open door. There's a line from a song that really captures who Mom was. She lived her life with strength, with conviction, and always on her own terms. And in many ways, the words say it best. I did it my way. That was her. Strong, independent, and true to herself right to the very end. Mom, thank you for everything you gave. This is not goodbye, but simply until we meet again. Thank you for your love, your sacrifices, and the life you gave me. I will carry you with me always and forever. Thank you.
Hi, those of you who don't know me, I'm Gwen, the eldest of the Symons kids. Before I say a few words about my mum, I want to say thank you very much. Can you hear me? Oh, you recorded? Oh, you recorded? Oh, okay. Right. I'm Gwen, the eldest of the Symons children, and I just want to say a few words about my mum, some personal things and some general things. The first thing I want to say is a great big thank you to my family for caring for my mum these last few months. It hasn't been easy, it was very difficult, a hard thing to watch someone you love so much just deteriorate into where she doesn't even recognize you anymore. And the biggest thanks must go to Liz. Liz, you have been unbelievable. You have looked after my mum with compassion and empathy, and you went the absolute extra mile for her. Just 10 days ago, we became orphans when our mum slipped away. It's a very scary thing when someone who has always been there for you, through thick and thin, good times and bad times, always offering unquestioning support and advice, is just suddenly gone. It's humbling, it's a part of life, and it's something we all have to go through. Although she's physically no longer here with us, we have her legacy and the years of memories that will remain with us forever. As Graham said, when we were growing up, our home was always full of people, and the doorways was always open for anyone needing a place to regroup or just a place to call home for a while. This was a testament to our mum's generosity and embracing kindness. The open home was extended to babysitting, which went way beyond the usual. She often had our girls for extended periods when Pete and I travelled. And when I needed to go to Cape Town for emergency treatment, when I was pregnant with Katie, not only did she step into the role of caregiver, but she ran my playgroup, took the girls to all the extramurals, hosted a birthday party, and prepared a nursery, which was no more than a room full of stuff when I left. She tidied it, she organized it to welcome the newest grandchild, and all this was done without even missing a beat. After my dad died, she came to work with me, so I got to spend every day with her. For 7 years, she was by my side. At that time, we had many, many weekends away, which always included Jenna and sometimes Gareth and Peter Lee. We even took her camping to our faraway favorite spot in the Eastern Cape. She was a trooper, enduring all the elements of rain and wind camping throws at you. All of these outings just created so many more memories for us, for our children, for her grandchildren, seeing her out of the usual, having fun, mucking in with the rain and not complaining at all. Our mum was a fiercely family-orientated person, and her family always came first. There was nothing she would not do to help and to make the road smoother for any one of us. Thank you, Mum, for always having our backs, and bon voyage.
Hi everyone, this is from Peter Lee. Following cancer surgery and I've been able to fly for a few weeks. I'm unable to be here today to value and cherish my granny. It's one thing I will never forgive myself for, not being able to be there for her, but I have a goodbye plan for when I'm well enough. To Granny, one of my first loves, to say that my heart is shattered into a million pieces is an insult, an understatement. I don't know how to heal from the incredible loss and suffering that I feel right now. Glenda is more than just a mom, granny, and great-granny. She was the glue that held us all together, who created life and love and gave back to everyone around her. She built the Symons family, and through incredible loss and heartbreak, we will all continue to live on in her legacy. There are many things that Granny loved in life: her lime milkshake, the colour purple, cooking and baking, her peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies, her vegetable bake, her love of flowers or her garden, her undying commitment to cats, her black marker pen to mark everything that she owned. So everybody knew it belonged to her. Yes, Glenda, we know it's yours. From her cat ornaments to her Tupperware to her pegs on the line. I'm surprised we all got unscathed with a marker pen jotted on us somewhere. Although she did write your name on your clothes label, we all gave her grief for it at the time. But now whenever we see that black marker pen pick up one of her belongings, we always think of her. This was a beautiful woman that radiated with love and incredible achievement. And you felt that whatever you were in her presence, she cherished her family and kept everything down to our baby clothes, letters, photos, belongings, and knickknacks. Anything that defined who you are, she kept and worshipped. Even through loss and several divorces, she still loved anybody that she crossed paths with. To one of my first love, I will never heal from your loss, but what I can do is continue to love you every single day until I breathe my last breath, and remember the love and memories that we, the Symons family, shared with you. Granny, I will continue to love you forever. My final goodbye is a poem that we shared in one of our last days today. I missed you today. I missed you today, and it's nothing new. I missed you a million times yesterday too. I picked up my phone to tell you the news, then realized again I can't text it to you. I saw your bright smile at least 20 times, and then I remember it's all in my mind. I drive without presence, the world feels surreal, and on comes your song, and this doesn't seem real. I missed you today, but I miss you a lot. It's helpful to miss you. It's all that I've got. I wish I could pull you down here for a while. I fear I'll forget the shape of your smile. I'll miss you today, and I'll miss you tomorrow. There seems to be no coming end to this sorrow. I try to go on as I know that you care. I know that you're willing me from up there. I miss you today, but I'm trying to find a way to move on, but not leave you behind, a way to forge on with the love that we had, a way to recall you, simply feel that. This is from Jenna, the other grandchild. To my dearest Granny, I still struggle to find the words to say goodbye. You were never just my grandmother. You were my second mother, my protector, my comfort, and one of the greatest loves of my life. You helped raise me and shape me into the person I am today, and I will forever be grateful for every moment that you shared. Some of my most treasured memories are of us together. I slept in your bed until I was 13 years old, because being close to you always made me feel safe and loved. We spent countless days going to the movies together, laughing and enjoying simple moments that now mean so much more. We shared holidays, adventures, and precious time together, creating memories that I will carry in my heart forever. No matter where we went or what we did, the best part was always being with you. The love you gave was endless. You loved without condition, without limits, and without expecting anything in return. Through every stage of my life, you were there with open arms, a warm smile, and a heart full of kindness. You celebrated my joys, carried me through my struggles, and reminded me that every day what unconditional love truly looks like. At 91 years old, you left behind a lifetime of love, wisdom, and beautiful memories. My heart broke when you left us on the 30th of May this year, but I take comfort in knowing that I was lucky enough to be loved by someone as extraordinary as you. Thank you for every hug, every conversation, every holiday, every movie, every bedtime, and the act of love that made my life richer and brighter. I miss you every day I will miss you every day for the rest of my life. Until we meet again, I will hold you close in my heart, where you will remain forever. I love you, Granny, always and forever. I'd like to say a few things.
I'd like to sing on here. Hi, everybody. I'm Gareth. Most of you know me. The first grandson, and I would say a little bit of a rebel in the family. But I'm going to keep this short. My grandmother was an exceptional lady. She had a heart bigger than most people would ever imagine. The door, as everybody said, was open, you know, and you could come in and you'd be treated as if you were family. Christmas times and things like that, when people were around, they were family. You weren't a stranger in our house. And, you know, there's one thing that will echo through the ages with us, and most of the Symons family will know this, and this is my grandmother saying, "Cinnamon!" You know, and that was my grandmother. And my dad mentioned something, and Corinthians is the verse that popped up to me. I will say, my grandmother was, and now all of these three remain. Faith. She kept her faith right until the bitter end. She had hope. She always had hope that the Symons family would be better. And lost of all, love. She had love that was uncompared to anybody I've met. I've known my grandmother for 50 years of my life. For my dad, and for Gav, and for Gwenny, you've known them for your whole life. This woman has left a legacy in our life that we cannot ever forget. And yeah, I had a little bit of a moment earlier on this morning today. Then I quickly reminded myself that this is not about me today. This is about my grandmother and her legacy and what is she leaving me behind. And all I can ask in this memory, that after this day, if we can leave here, we can all leave on the same page for my grandmother's sake. Granny, I love you, and we'll meet again. And I know you're looking down on us here now. You too, Grandpa. And yes, we're going to miss you, and we love you. Thank you.
Just a few thank yous, especially to Vera and Andre for doing the service for us. We appreciate it very much. Colette for doing the catering, beautiful. Shane for all your help that you've given us and been there today. And who else have I left out? Later, baby. To all the people that did turn up today, really appreciate it. People have come from far. And just want to say something that someone that couldn't be here today, his name is Travis, that used to live in our complex. He used to say, "Lovely roses, Glenda. It's pruning time." I'll never forget Travis for that. And what else can I'm not going to go into this last couple of months that we had together, but it was sad. But she's in a better place now. Okay, and everyone, thanks very much once again.
Hi, my name is Vera, I've known Glenda for all the years she stayed in Carisbrook. And so I've just put something together. So I'm very privileged to have many fond memories of Glenda. She was more than just a neighbor, as we shared so many interests and encouraged and supported each other in those interests. Animals is one. Glenda loved cats and dogs, and when I used to go traveling, she used to feed my cats for me and come over just to spend time with them. And this used to mean a lot to me. It just gave me the freedom to travel. And then one time she came, I had one cat, she came and she said, there are two little cats looking for homes. She brought them to my house. The one jumped on my lap. She said, right now we're leaving, that's your cat. And off she went, and then I had two cats. So gardening. When Glenda changed Carisbrook into something really special. She had pots with roses, and she took care of them, like Travis said, Glenda, it's the pruning time. And she also loved to share her plants and cuttings. So in the people who related to her in their gardens, there'll always be Glenda cuttings, but they could never grow as well as they grew in her garden because she had amazing green fingers. Sewing, you know, when she joined the church, we have an outreach to Klipjewel. It's a squatter camp. And then she got together with some other ladies and she sewed with them, and later when she couldn't sew, she helped them and sat there and guided them in how to sew, and they made dresses and things for the people and the kiddies in Klipjewel, and I'll never forget that. And when we had our Thanksgiving event at church, she loved cooking certain things, so she always brought her can, and I've never seen it before, a flask with chicken slaw salad with chicken in it, and it was delicious. And that was a Glenda thing. And then at Christmas time, I always heard the exact detail of what goes into a broccoli salad. And then the movies, you always did DVDs, Graham. And then I got some as gifts as well. She was into her DVDs and movies and things. And these days, I'm the same age as Gav, he's 66. And then there are paintings needed at the house or some woodwork. And I think, yeah, you know, I don't have the energy to do that. And I think, well, Glenda did it in her 70s. If she could do it in her 70s, you can do it. Because she was still up on ladders and doing things, you know, yeah. And then family. Both of us valued family. And if someone just dared say anything negative about her family, that proud, protective mama bear would show up, and that was that. And after that, she was very wary of that person. She loved her family. And I will continue to remember her fondly. And I'm very, very privileged to have such treasures, a treasure chest of memories of Glenda, really. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
I'm going to close off. Let's close in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the life of Glenda Symons, and we thank you for her love, her kindness, and the many lives she touched. We ask that you welcome her into your eternal peace, free from pain and held in your grace. Please comfort all of us she leaves behind and give us strength in the days ahead. Help us carry forward her spirit of love and generosity. We give thanks for her life and place her now in your care. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you, everyone. And there's some snacks at the back, and the bar is open. It's a cash bar. Help yourself. So, have a great rest of the afternoon and enjoy yourselves.